Welcome. It's the Illblurmatic, Matic. It's the illest blood in the land.
Welcome back to Illblurmatic. What is going on, legends? Thank you so much for commenting, liking, and subscribing to the channel. Let's get right into it today. Today's new movie review is something I've been wanting to see. I finally got to see it yesterday. And what am I talking about? Black Adam movie review right now. So let's talk about this movie. One thing I really loved about this movie is pretty much the story. The flashback sequences were really well executed with this film. We see modern, the city that Black Adam was sealed in, and also we see the current, how they transition, because how in the past it was a different type of city. It still went through some type of struggle, you know what I'm saying? Whereas in current time, it is ran by Interpol gang that we see in the actual movie. So there is an interesting contrast between the two. We see that it's still being ran by somebody, even though it's not a monarchy type of thing. It's more of like a dictatorship in current times. The other thing that I loved about this movie was the action scenes. Oh my God, the action scenes in this movie with Black Adam and the Justice League, incredible. Loved it. I love when he fought Dr. Fate. There were some really cool visuals with him and Dr. Fate facing off with one another. My other favorite one is when he fought Hawkman. Man, those scenes were like very interesting. I was like, wow. And on top of that, we had Cyclone when he fought Cyclone, and also Atom Smash. I love that we see the Justice Society of America and their members. Now, the most interesting thing about this movie is the story. I like how with the flashbacks, we get the story, but not like, you know, okay, one scene, complete flashback. No, the pacing worked for this film. Yes, it's a 2-hour film, but the pacing worked. It built it up to kind of show you how Black Adam became the way he was. Now, let's talk about something that's also interesting in this film. The next thing is the scenes that were kind of Supermanish. There were some scenes where he's flying, throwing people around, punching them around. Definitely Superman vibes. There's no denying it. I was like, yep, this took a cue from a Superman movie, but you know what? It's okay. I'm not going to deny it. And that's fine. I mean, superhero movies have a formula just like anything else has a particular type of formula. What I also loved about this movie is Black Adam adapting with the times. Him not being from the current time, he had to adapt. And this is where him and the Justice Society of America clashed, because they said, hey, heroes don't kill people. And Black Adam like, well, I do. You know what I'm saying? And they have their differences of ideology, because they're like, hey, we're the Justice Society of America. We fight villains or enemies, but we don't kill them necessarily. That was something that was interesting, and that's why it was harder for him to accept it, because he's like, who are you guys? You don't even live in this city. Who are you? You know? Also, what I loved about this film is the villain. The villain was very interesting. The villain happened to be a descendant of the monarch of that actual city. He was the head of the Interpol gang. Very assertive. I like that he was very assertive to search for this family heirloom that pretty much his ancestor wore back in the ancient times. Also, let's talk about Black Adam's past for a bit. So this movie kind of ties into literally Shazam a little bit, because he was the previous Shazam as well. But we learn about that he was imprisoned due to the Wizards. The Wizards imprisoned Black Adam. So when Isis summoned him, pretty much she didn't realize it at first. She's like, wait a minute, you were no hero. You were someone that they sealed away. You know what I'm saying? Also, what I loved about this film is when the heroes and Black Adam finally come to terms of agreements. Love that scene. That was really cool. Now, the next thing I would like to say is the chemistry amongst the actors. I love that the actors had really great chemistry together. It didn't seem stale or anything. I liked Adam Smash's performance. I liked Cyclone's performance. I actually liked Dr. Fate's performance. Pierce Brosnan did an excellent job playing Dr. Fate. I was like, yep, that's our Dr. Fate. Hawkman, Alden Hodges did a really good job. I love when the actors can come together and make a solid film. It really felt like you got into these characters, like they actually got into the characters and the role itself. So I love that fact of the movie. Also, let's talk about the surprise twist with this. Black Adam eventually gives up. You know what I'm saying? Gives up hope. He doesn't know if he could help the JSA defeat this villain. And also, let's talk about the ending. Talk about a plot twist. Now, I'm going to say this right now, and I don't want people to be like, oh, get it away from me. There is a death. There is a JSA death. I'm not going to say which member, but one of the JSA members dies in this actual film. And I was like, wow, because originally I was like, this person's going to survive somehow. But it made sense because they gave it a nice plot twist at the end to defeat the villain that he had to defeat. Really well executed. I like the writing towards the end of this movie too. But overall, I gotta say, the only downside was just it has some Superman fight scenes that we see in Superman movies. I thought the story was well paced with the flashback sequences. It really flowed with the movie. The action was there. Dwayne Johnson delivered the role. He did a really great job delivering the role. And stuff like that. It wasn't much CGI. That was the other thing too I forgot to mention. When it came to his costume, so it seems like they went with not doing CGI for the costume. Terrific. But if I got a rating, let's get a rating for it. I gotta say, I was impressed with this film. To me, it delivered. I'm gonna give it a B+, because it did have action. Even the comedy in there was really great. I think the story explained well enough for Black Adam and who he is. I like that we learned about how he's struggling to live in modern society versus the past society. But you guys tell me in the comments, guys, have you seen Black Adam? Did you love it? Did you hate it? You tell me in the comments, guys. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Have a wonderful day, guys. And it's a blur living in the world. Take care, guys.
I want to thank the legends of the channel, the Ill Blur, Maddie.